come in 141 or Highway 44 this morning, my apologies. You did not have a wonderful commute. But you're in the office now, temperature's rising, and hopefully your drive home tonight will be much better than your drive into work was this morning. There are a couple of us that this is our first time attending. Just to let you know, we are in listen-only mode. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them in. I have the window over on my other screen, so hopefully I'll be able to see it and answer you as they come. I want to share a little story that happened to me last week, a little short story. These people are probably on the line, but I wanted to share this because I felt really good about it. I was in a meeting with a client last week, and during the meeting, one of the staff members mentioned something that she learned in a Tech Tuesday. And that made me feel really good because that means you guys are getting more out of your Sage product and learning, and I'm very, very glad and very, very proud that this is helping you in your day-to-day Sage experience. So we're going to keep these up as long as I can keep coming up with ideas, and you guys need to shoot ideas over to me of different things that you want to talk about, and I'll try to get them in on a Tech Tuesday. So today we're going to talk about paperless, and as I've said over the years, paperless, there's no such thing as paperless. There's less paper, but I don't think there will ever be such a thing as paperless. Just for the history of this add-on, shall we say, this used to be a $6,000 add-on that you could purchase to run with your Sage software. And in, I believe it was version 4.3, they incorporated that into the product. Now keep in mind, and I'll share this with you another day, but there's a website that you can go to vote on different enhancements or features that you would like to see in the system. And paperless was one of them. Even though it was a third party that you could purchase, they incorporated it in and I think increased the value of your product because of that. Now, I don't want you to think about paperless as, you know, hey, I'm trying to, you know, become with the times necessarily. I want you to think about it as another way of so-called backing up your system, okay? What happens whenever the auditor is there and they say, I want to see register number AR-15527? And we go in our drawer where we keep all of our registers, and we have every one except for the one that auditor is looking for. Well, with paperless, you're going to have it. You know, it'll be in your paperless viewer. We'll be able to double-click on it, print it out, and give it to that auditor. The other thing that paperless does for us is for those of us who are supporting your systems, quite often it makes it easier for us to investigate problems that you've had, meaning I no longer have to ask for that register SO-152. I can go to paperless, double-click on it, and look at the transaction as it occurred, rather than having you find it in your drawer, walk over to your copier, scanner, fax machine, scan it, and send it to me. I can now just go into the paperless viewer and find the register and do what I need to do in order to help you determine what happened, what caused the problem that you have. If you decide that you want to go paperless and still print, that's fine. That's your prerogative. If you decide you want to go paperless and you are no longer going to print, just please be sure you have a good backup. Because remember, now all your documents are stored on your server. So we have to rely on your backups. Now I will tell you, in my office, I have 2 backups. I have one that backs up here at the office, and I have one that backs up off-site, because we cannot afford to lose our system, and I don't think you can either. In recent times, we had 2 clients that had catastrophic problems, and with the advent of these off-site backups, it's really helped people be able to feel more secure about their data, especially if it's stored off-site. So with all that being said, let's start talking about paperless and setting it up. Now, the first thing that you need to do, you'll notice that paperless will be on your menu, and you're going to click the Setup option. In order to use paperless, you have to go into Paperless Office Options, and you have to turn it on. So the first thing you have to decide is, okay, what do I want to store paperless? If you want to start slow and easy, just start with your journals and registers. It does not hurt, however, to turn all of these on. Doesn't mean you have to use them. Go ahead and turn them on. I like to tell the system to load my data into my viewer. If we don't have it load into the viewer, we won't be able to see it. So if you turn these on, you're going to turn these on. And I also tell it to keep the last copy. Now, why do I say the last copy? Well, if I'm, editing a journal or reprinting a report 3 or 4 times, I don't want those every time I print that report to be out there. Maybe I only want it out there the last time I printed it. So that's why. Think about your journals and registers. This is an AP register, and you look at it and you go, oh, I transposed a number. I got to go back in and fix that and then print it again. Do I want both of those registers out there? No, I just want that last register. So that's what keep only last copy means. So step 1, turn it on. Okay? Now, step 2, journal and register maintenance. What you're going to do here is you're going to tell the system, where you want to put your documents, where you want to store them on your server. Now, if I click the flashlight here, what you're going to see is I've already set one of these up for all companies, all modules, all documents. But what I want to do is I want to walk through one with you with a specific company. That's the easiest way to do it, all in all, okay? But I'm going to choose a particular company just so you can see the drop-downs. For my journals and registers, choose a company or choose all, go to your module code, and you can actually choose individual modules. Now, this is what I'm going to tell you. As somebody who has to do your upgrades and move your paperless documents, I much prefer it if it's all modules in one folder rather than individual folders. However, it's your preference. It's your system. If you want to create a folder out on your network under your paperless, one for AP, one for AR, one for bank rec, that's fine. It's your system. Do it whatever way you want. But I just need to tell you, you don't have to do it that way, because when you look in your viewer, you can actually look at a particular module without looking at all the documents stored in that folder. So I am going to choose all because that's my preference. Then I can tell it, if I wanted to get it, really to a low level, I can actually say which specific documents I want paperless. I want all my documents paperless, because if I don't say all, inevitably I'm going to miss something. I'm going to miss that register that I need. So I'm going to say all documents. Then you have to tell it where this PDF directory is. Now you're going to notice mine is going to be on my C drive. Yours is going to be on your network, okay? I personally prefer that we don't put the PDF documents folder underneath your MAS90 folder. Now I will tell you that I do have 1 or 2 clients that, because of some rights on their network, and we have yet to be able to figure out why we were unable to do it, we've actually had to put it underneath their MAS90 folder, but it's very rare that we do that. So under your PDF documents folder, I usually just store them all right there, but I do have some clients that say, AR, AP, SO, et cetera, et cetera. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I'm just going to choose PDF documents. Also keep in mind, these are PDF documents. So if you want to secure this folder, you need to secure it through the network or through a password protection here, okay? Your next prompt is for auto-create PDF. Now, my personal opinion, I don't like prompt, because then the user has to make a decision. I don't want them to make a decision. I want the system to automatically create it, because inevitably they're going to say, if they're prompted, they may say no, they may say yes. I want it, in my world, I want it to automatically create the PDF, because then I don't have to think about it, I don't have to worry about it. Do I want to password protect this document? Now, I'm going to say no, because I've said all documents. Maybe there's specific documents that I want password protected, so I might narrow my band up here under document. But for the most part, I'm going to say no, and then I can actually put a password in here. Okay? Now, so I've got that set up, and then I move to my next option, and that is period end report maintenance. Once again, I have my all companies, all modules set up, and I tell it where I want my documents stored. I'm going to say yes to auto-create, and I'm not going to password protect these. I can do the same thing for my reports menu. And I'm going to choose all companies, all modules, and then the directory. Now, I have a question here. How does the password work? Is it recorded on the PDF? Yes, the password is recorded with the PDF, and if you open it, you will have to type in the password. If you email it, they will have to type in the password. The next part of this question is, can we change the password? Quite honestly, I've never tested that, so I would have to test that for you and let you know whether or not we can change that in the future. It's a PDF document, so I'm thinking it's going to be using Adobe rules, so let me test that for you, and I will let you know if that can be changed in the future. And, once again, you need to have at least 2 people who know what this password is that you put in here. I believe it will also prompt you when you create the document if you have it password protected. So if it does prompt, everybody's got to be on the same page. Otherwise, nobody's going to know what that doggone password is, which is probably what prompted his question here. So I will test that for you and let you know. The forms maintenance is where we can really make a difference on what we're going to do with these forms. Okay. Once again, I'm going to show you I've got all companies, all modules, all documents set up, and I'm going to take a step back and show you what our actual options are. So I'm going to choose my ABC company, and when it comes to module code, I can actually make a decision. Maybe today I'm not ready for all. Maybe today I just want to do my say, for instance, my sales order documents. Then it's going to ask me, okay, well, of your sales order documents, which ones do you want to create as paperless? I can say all, or I can say just invoice or just an order. Okay, I'm going to choose all. Then, am I going to electronically deliver these? Okay, so what does that mean for me? That means I can email, and I'm going to take a step back here, so let's go and say all. I can email these various documents to my customers or vendors. An AR statement, an AR invoice. Most of us don't do AR invoices, we do them on sales orders. A sales order invoice, a sales order, an RMA. If I have payroll, my direct deposit stub, purchase order, my PO, my returns, an AP check, if we're doing our ACH in accounts payable. So keep that in mind. More and more, I am getting invoices via emails. We're going to be seeing that happen a lot more in the near future. So I can come in here and I can say, yes, I want to electronically deliver it. Well, who is it going to come from? So I can put my name in, but guess what happens if I leave and somebody removes me from the system? Okay, right? It stops working. So make sure that, what I do a lot of times is I tell people to make sure that they make this user here like accounting at blah, 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 or, whatever you want to make it. But you might want to stay away from a particular user's name in case, that user wins that lottery and they decide they don't want to come to work anymore. Wouldn't happen to me. I'm going to work forever. Then you tell it where you're going to store it. So once again, I'm going to come down here, and under my PDF documents, I actually have one called PDF Forms. So I'm going to put mine in there. I'm keeping my last copy, and I'm going to put a password in here. So if I do decide to send these out, I can password protect these. You're going to notice there's an additional tab here, but I'm not going to talk about the additional tab today because this is based on AP checks and payroll check stubs. That's going to be another day, another Tech Tuesday. We'll go over those. Okay. So once you get this set up, you're ready, well, halfway ready to start sending documents to your customers, vendors, etc. I've used this overall right here, so I can send. It doesn't matter if it's a PO, sales order, invoice, order, whatever. Mine is set up to go. Okay. Now, what do I do next? So I've got that part. Now my paperless is set up. It's set up and ready to start using. What do I do next? Well, if I plan on sending, well, now I'm going to get ahead of myself here. Let's go back to how do you use the paperless? Okay. The one piece I want to talk about is your general journal entries before I get to your regular registers. This may be your exception to the rule. Paperless sometimes drives people a little crazy in general ledger, journal entry. And the reason why, and you need to think about it this way, is every entry that you have out here, the paperless system considers a different paperless document. So right now, I've got a couple journal entries I've put into my system. I got 3 right now. And maybe I'm going to add another one. So I'm going to say, you know, reclass expense to correct account. And, you know, I'm just happy as a lark here doing my journal entries. Let's do some insurance. Take $100, and let's put it to the correct expense account. And now I'm ready to accept it, which I do. Nothing's changed, right? Everything looks the same. I'm either going to click my little printer button here, or I'm going to come out to the main menu, and I'm going to click my General Journal button. Here's the trick to paperless. You have to hit print. Cannot hit preview. You do not get a PDF if you hit preview. And for those of us that are in that preview habit, you got to stop. So you're going to hit print. Now, this is what happens to general journal entries, and this is what kind of drives people a little bit crazy. We're going to let the system process. Oh, look, here we are. Here's our first. Wait for it. Oh, there's our second. Wait for it. There's our third. And there's our fourth. Okay. That has a tendency sometimes to drive people a little mad because now you've got, you know, all these windows pop, 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 pop. No, it's not that big of a deal. You can close out of it, and then you can do your posting. But here's the trick with paperless. I got these paperless documents. I still want to print. What do? You click on the printer. So we want the PDF as our backup, but I want my paper too. Click on the printer. So I would print that. I would print the next one. And I would print, and I would print. Okay? Now I have my question. Do I want to update my general journal? Why, yes, I do. Okay? Where are my journal entries? Okay, I printed them, but maybe I'm the person I don't want to print anymore. So what do? I come to my Paperless Office. I go to my Journal and Register Viewer. Now I've been doing a lot of work, so I've got a lot of entries in here, and I've got stuff from AP, GL, IM, SO. I don't want to look at all that. I just want to look at my general ledger, and I may even want to narrow it by a specific date. So I can change my date, I hit my refresh, and all I'm seeing is my journal entries. If I double-click on one of these, ba-da, there it is. Okay, I can print. If that's the register that that auditor is looking for, all I have to do is hit print. So for general ledger, you may not want, for journal entries, you may not want it turned on, but keep the thought there. Now let's talk about accounts payable and how it handles, what happens when I go paperless with my registers. So let's go into invoice data entry. Once again, I'm going to put in a vendor. I'm going to put in an invoice. Just like I normally do, nothing's changed. It expenses it for me. I click accept. I put in another invoice and another invoice and another invoice. Nothing's changed. I click the print button. It'll ask me my posting date. I'm going to confirm that I'm posting it as of today, and I'm going to click print. I'm going to keep saying this. Don't hit preview. Hit print. Now, for those of us who are in a little bit slower systems, sometimes this takes a minute because it's trying to create the PDF documents and the documents associated to it. So this is exactly the piece of paper that you would get out in your printer for your register, right? I check it out, make sure my totals work, and look, I got multiple pages here, so I'm going to hit my down arrow. And here's that second page that I normally look at. Debits equal credits. I'm good with it. So all I need to do is exit out and say yes to update. Then it does my daily transaction register. Print. Here's my document. Debits equal credits. And out we go. Once again, I can go back to my viewer. I can say I just want to see accounts payable. Change my date if I want to just change, look for today's. Hit my refresh, and here are my registers. Here's the one I just posted today. I can sort these. One of the things I want you to notice while I'm in here, the date the PDF was created. Has it been updated? Where is it being stored? Does the PDF actually exist where supposedly it's being stored? Sometimes it doesn't. And that may be because we've had to move them and the link was broken and it didn't come over where the system can still see where it really is properly stored. Who was the user logged in that created the PDF? That's one for some people. They love that because they want to know who actually created that register to begin with. I can double click on it, boom, open it up, print it out, do whatever I need to do. Okay, so that's how we do journals and registers. If I wanted to print reports, maybe I want to print an aging report. Okay, I'm going to click my down arrow and I'm going to choose Paperless Office. That's how I print a report to paperless. And you'll do the same thing at period end. Period end, some of us have it set up where we want to print just some specific reports at period end. That's how you do it. You choose your Paperless Office printer, and that will print those reports. Okay, so now we're going to go one step further. We're going to look at how do we send documentation to our customers and vendors. The next thing that you have to do is go to Library Master, Main, and Company Maintenance. In here, you're going to choose your company code, and we're going to go to the Email tab. This is where you need to get your IT company involved, because we're going to need to know what your IP address is of your SMTP server and what port that they have open for you to send out documents. And I know half of us that just went, woo, whatever, yeah, we'll call the IT guy. Okay. There's certain levels of encryption that we can choose. And this is, I believe, a version 5 and higher option. And sometimes we actually do have to put a user ID in and a domain name and password here. Once again, be very cautious. This happens to us all the time. If I put in my name here in 60 days or 90 days, whenever I have it set on my network, that I have to change my password, this doesn't change automatically. And guess what? All of a sudden the feature stops working again. So try to put in a user here, have your IT guy set up something like, you know, either accounting at or mail at, but this user, maybe their password doesn't change. Okay? So once you get that set up, we usually test the Paperless Office to make sure that it is actually going to send out based on that information. But your next step is to come into customer maintenance. And we have to set up your customer to allow them to have paperless. You'll notice that we have a Paperless Office button here. Most of us will have an email address in the customer maintenance for this particular customer. What we're going to do is we're going to click on this Paperless button. And I can click my down arrow, and the system's going to say, okay, what do you want to set up for this customer to go paperless? Well, maybe I want to set up their statement. So here's where I have some decisions to make. Do I still want to print it? Do I want to email it? Maybe I do want to email it, but I don't want to print it anymore because it's a statement. I don't want to waste the paper, okay? I can password protect it. And I don't want us all to get really excited when we see this fax button, because a lot of us do, and we're like, oh, yay, we get to fax. Well, only if you have a fax server. And it has to be a specific fax server that works with the software, which I can research for you if you want me to do so. But most of the time, the majority of us are emailing now. Gone are the days where we used to ask people for their fax number, and we'd say, what do you mean you don't have a fax number? Now it's, what's your email address? So faxes are starting to go away slowly but surely. Your next step is you're going to come in here to your email, and you're going to say, okay, what email address am I going to send to? And guess what? Yes. Before you even ask it, I know you're thinking it, you can send it to more than one email address. I'm going to choose to use the customer email address. So this is the one that we see over here. I can also choose a contact code if I have set up a contact, because maybe my customer has said, okay, I know, you can send to this person, but I also want the manager of the department to get this. Or here's a really good one. A lot of times, some of our salespeople, internal to our own company, they want emails on what their customers are purchasing. So they will actually have us set up and the salesperson's email address in here so that they get emailed when their customer does a purchase. Now, if you got a high volume, boy, I wouldn't want to be that salesperson getting all those emails. But I don't know, maybe he's tickled pink. Who knows? So you set up all the documents that this person or this company is going to have emailed to them. Okay, so that's step one. We first have to go to Library Master Company Maintenance, set the email up in there. Step two, we have to go to the customer or vendor or employee to set up their paperless in here. Now, what do we do next? Well, let's say we're going to create an invoice for a customer. Now, granted, yes, you can do a sales order first. That's the way most of us do it, but I'm kind of cutting corners here today. So I'm going to go into the customer, and my guy's on credit hold, but I trust him. And I'm going to go to the lines, and I'm going to purchase something here. So let's get one of these. Yeah, I'm out of stock, and we're not going to say anything because you know how Sue doesn't like us to sell things that we're out of stock on, but we're going to ignore that today. And I can click on Accept if I want to and keep entering invoices. And then I can go and I can do my invoice printing. But for our purposes today, I'm going to hit Quick Print. I'm going to save my changes. And what you're going to notice, once you have Paperless turned on, you have a new field here, Paperless Office Output. And you have many options. Now, I have included in the material that I'm going to send you today a grid that shows you exactly what will happen based on the options that you choose here and your check marks in the customer or vendor of whether you're printing and emailing or just emailing, et cetera, et cetera. I have a really nice grid I'm going to send you in the documentation, so I'm not going to go into what each one of these does right now. I'm going to click on Electronic Deliver, and once again, I'm going to hit Print. It's connecting to my server, and it tells me that it attempted one email and it was successful. Now, here comes your next question. I'm already anticipating it because I've been asking this question myself since they introduced paperless. Is there a log, or does it show in Outlook that this went to the intended person? No, it does not. It does not. This is not part of Outlook. It's not integrated with Outlook. It's bypassing Outlook. So all we really have is the fact that this email has, that we attempted and we have a success, okay? It's been sent. Now, with that being said, let's take a jump back to paperless, and I'm going to go into, no, it's not going to show it in here yet because of the fact that I haven't posted it. Sorry about that. We're going to go ahead and post our register so I can show you the invoice out there. All right, I'm going to hit my print. Now, those of you who know me know that I always tell people, print the gross profit report, my favorite report in the system. And I'm not going to do the rest of the daily reports. So here's my daily sales journal. I actually had, well, this one was deleted, but here's the invoice that I sent to the customer. Page 2 is my gross profit. I love the gross profit report because it shows me my GL accounts that it got posted to, shows me my salespeople, commission information. Absolutely love this report. I'm going to go ahead and close out of there, and I'm going to update my sales journal. And I'm going to go ahead and follow through and do my daily transaction register. Here's my debits, my credits. My debits equal credits, which is a bonus day. And I'm going to go ahead and post it. Now, let's go back to paperless, and let's look at my customer viewer. And what you're going to see out here heck, I'll just make it full screen, are my customers and their invoices. Yes, it was updated. Yes, the PDF exists. Yes, it was sent. Double click, and here's my invoice. It will use your same form code that you normally use. So if you have the beautiful invoice with your logo and everything looks nice and fancy, that's how it's going to go. It's not going to look plain like this one. I just didn't beautify it. So it will use your normal form code. Where else can I see this? Well, I can go into, I'm just going to go into customer inquiry. I'm going to bring up my customer, go to my invoices, and there it is. I can double click on it, drill down like I normally do, or I can go to my paperless viewer from my customer, and oh my goodness, there it is. And the customer says, hey, I don't remember getting that. Well, I can email it right from here. Neat. Okay. You can also do that with your statements, but I can email this right from here. Now, some of us, we're not quite ready to do the forms, but it's really, really a cool feature. Okay, Laura, who uses paperless a lot, they actually have canned messages set up when they do their statements and invoices. And I'm assuming, Laura, that you are doing it from your electronic delivery maintenance, and you can actually tell the system based on the form so you can actually have a predefined message here. Please see attached your invoice, blah, 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 blah. Thank you for your business. We appreciate what you do for us, which is kind of nice because it's a little bit more personalized. So, you know, it's the way of the world, and I know we're not all ready for the way of the world, but we're getting there. So keep this in mind. If you set up paperless, do you have to do forms to begin with? No. Can you ease into it? Yes. Can you do just a few customers or vendors at a time? Yes. I do recommend doing all of your journals and registers as paperless, just as a great backup. It's a backup to what you have. If you're still printing and you still want to print, fine. That's fine. But at least have those journals and registers out there. And like I said, if you start doing your forms, you have those that you can just go right into that customer and double-click on it and send it to the customer. If you're on the phone with the customer and they're like, well, I don't remember getting that invoice. Oh, here, let me send that to you. I mean, how efficient. You're on the phone and you're clicking, bada bing, here's your email, and there you go. Okay, so this, I wanted to give you guys a taste of it. A lot of you are using this already. A lot of you are just came today that are using it. Just make sure, hey, am I missing something? Probably you are not. But there's a lot of value in going paperless. You're saving on your postage. Your customers and vendors are getting the information faster, and it's pretty efficient, and it helps us from a support standpoint. It helps us, and not only just us, but internal workings. The controller, the accounting manager, the CFO can now just go out to the paperless viewer and drill down instead of constantly having to go to somebody and saying, hey, can you print me this register? Can you get me that register or whatever? It's just a more efficient way of being able to do business. So that is what I had for you today. Hopefully it was good information and solidified that you're doing it right or made you feel like I can do this. I do still need more ideas for some more upcoming Tech Tuesdays. I appreciate you all taking some time. I know I ran a little over today. It was a little longer than normal, but this I probably could have gone, if I got deeper, probably gone a little bit further. So anyway, thank you all for attending. Have a happy spring. I know it didn't seem like it this morning, but I got my fingers crossed for warmer weather. I know I wished you happy spring the last time, but this time I hope it sticks. I'm going to send Mother Nature an email, paperless, and let her know that spring is here and it needs to stay. So you all have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Send me emails on new topics you'd like to do, and we'll get them on here for you. Thanks a bunch. You all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.